Hey there, YouTube. This is Dr. Dual Sport. We're going to do a little Polar Bear Challenge, I believe number 8. 2015 Polar Bear Challenge number 8. The temperature is 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Beginning mileage 556.1. 556.1. We're going to do a little something different today. We're not trying to find the coldest temperature to ride in, but what we're going to do is we're going to kill two birds with one stone. Let's see, get my shades on here. There. Anyway, as I was saying, we're gonna kill, try to kill two birds with one stone. We're gonna do a PBC ride, and we're also gonna move some cows. Today's the only day when I have a little help here. I've got some of the kids are out of school, so got an extra hand, so I think she's warmed up now. You want to go ahead and see if there's an open gate? Rollin', 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 keep them doggies rollin', keep them doggies rollin' right. Well, this reminds me of a story. It actually reminds me of my very good, although late neighbor. His name was Gary. He had a little irrigated farm just a quarter-mile below here, but anyway, Gary was more well known by his nickname, which was the Marlboro Man. I don't know if you how old you people are, but if you remember back in the 70s, they had a lot of cigarette advertisements on television. The different brands would be competing, and one of them, Marlboro, they depicted this very tall, nice-looking, dark-haired cowboy with a black hat. He'd also had on a nice shirt, riding a good-looking quarter horse, and he'd smoking a Marlboro, and the smoke would curl into the air, you know, and it looked pretty neat. And anyway, Gary did smoke. He smoked the Marlboros, and so he got that nickname. But anyway, out of all the neighbors that I've had in my life, and I'm talking about farm neighbors, Gary was by far the most kind, compassionate, loving, Christ-like. Gary was married for a short period of time when he was younger, and then he never did remarry, and what he lived for was his cows. He had a ranch that's about 10 miles west of here in the next valley there, Dog Valley, and sometimes his cattle would run out there year-round. There'd be, feed, different type of feeds for different time of the year. But one thing he did have to do was like haul a lot of water. A lot of times he would haul a couple of loads of water in the night, and then he'd sleep in his truck. And he'd have like a carton of Marlboros on his dashboard and 2 thermoses of coffee. And then when it came time for him to for his water turn for irrigation, flood irrigating, I don't know if any of you know anything about that. If you live in the east, you don't know anything about irrigation. But anyway, he would spend 2 or 3 days preparing. He would hand shovel his ditches, and he would shovel the outlets. He knew just the correct elevation to dig those out so that he could spread that water out and make it soak. And he was really a master at that. He would stay there 24 hours a day until he completed his water turn. He would sleep in his truck. So sometimes, he might sleep in his same clothes for 2 or 3 days, and be between hauling water to the cows and irrigating. But Gary was the best guy that you'd ever meet. I've done a lot of fencing between neighbors, and Gary is the only one that ever offered to help me in the cost of the materials. And he was like right there the next day with his checkbook. And one time I hauled some cattle for him with a bull wagon, the semi, and by golly, the next morning at 8 o'clock, he was there at the door, and my son Chris was just a little young boy then. Anyway, Chris goes and answers the door, and he says, "Ma, the Marlboro Man's here." Anyway, Gary, he just smiled, but he was the friendliest, most kind, honest person that I know. And he spent a lot of time at the cafe. He would eat his meals there, and he enjoyed the waitresses. He was a true friend to them, and he always was a big tipper. And anyway, with Gary, there was no ego. He wasn't trying to impress anybody. He didn't think he was better than you. He accepted everyone the way they truly were. And then when each of my boys graduated from high school, he like come over and give them a $50 bill. And there's a lot of the young kids. He would when they'd graduate, he'd give them some money, to congratulations, you graduated. And anyway, they're just not a better guy. If I get time, I might. I know they used to have like a artist rendering, pencil drawing of Gary hanging up at the cafe there. If I can, I'll see if I can get a picture of that. But he was just a swell guy. And then in the fall, when he'd sell his calves, he'd carry his check stub in his pocket, and he'd carry that around for a couple of weeks, and he'd show everybody what he got out of those calves. He was so proud, proud of the good bulls that he had selected, and how he had taken care of his cows, and he just took a lot of pride. And anyway, he was a great guy. If there was more people, if they had his values and treated people kind like he did, that this would be a better world. Anyway, it looks like the old cows are going along pretty good. They kind of pretty well know where they're going, when you move them 2 or 3 times a year to different places, and they're used to it. They know where they're going. They'll follow each other. We just gotta, like when we get down the intersection, we just gotta turn them, and it shouldn't be much problem. The only thing, when you're moving livestock, the cattle or sheep, it seems like you always have your, what we call the lead and the tail end. Okay, the lead, that's the ones that want to go. They want to get there, keep it going, and then the tail end, that's the stragglers. They might be the older cows, or you might have one that has a little bit of sore foot or something, but anyway, so sometimes you just have to hold back the lead one for a while and let the others catch up. But I think they're going pretty good today, and we're happy that we have such nice weather. I've moved these cows other years when it was close to zero, very cold, but we're equipped. We got our layers on, we got our layered gloves, layered pants, layered top, and got the head covered well, so should be no problem. Anyway, we'll just keep cruising along here, and when we get to the destination, we'll let y'all know. Boy, that looks frosty up over there, over that mountain there where the sun's trying to shine through the clouds. It's going to get cold tonight. Well, we're just about made her. The old gals are all lined out there, and they know exactly where they're going. Yeah, they'll be down here in this greasewood brush here the rest of the winter. They'll spend the winter down here. Well, Gary, old Marlboro Man, my buddy, here's thinking of you today. When I get doing stuff like this, it's funny. It reminds you of things or people, in your past. Anyway, I'm just kind of thinking on old Gary today. What a great example he was to others. To the way he cared about others and his kindness. And probably the most honest person you'd ever meet. Anyway, I hope he's doing well wherever he is there on the other side now, so I'll bet he is. Yeah, we'll just look these old cows over here for a minute in remembrance of Gary, because he did love cows. Let's go, girls. Let's go, girls. Motel time. Motel time. Well, them old gals know where they are now, so we're going to turn around now and head back for the house. Okay, ending mileage 563.5. 563.5.